So I want to talk about desk postures and how you should sit at your desk. I've got Brooke in a poor posture in almost every way, a poor desk sitting position in almost every way, so that I can fix her and make it right. And so you'll see how it goes from sitting wrong to sitting correctly. And so the first thing we want to look at is the height of the chair. And so there's this rule when we're dealing with ergonomics of desk sitting, and it's called the rule of 90s. And what that means is you want all your joints opened up more than 90 degrees. And so this would be closed up right here. This is closer than 90. We want them opened more than 90 degrees. And so we want the nerve and blood flow to be able to move through here easily. And when you're opened up more than 90, that allows that. Same at the hips. We don't want the hips up closer than 90 degrees. We want them opened up a little bit. And so the first thing I'm going to look at is, can this person put their feet on the floor and have their back against the chair and have their hips opened up more than 90 degrees? And so I'm going to have her put her feet on the floor for me. Now we're working with a sit-stand desk, and it's an automatic desk. We bought this at Costco. They work great. And so then the next thing I'm going to do is say, could you please scoot back toward the back rear of your chair and right up against it. Now she's got a lumbar support. By the way, can you come in here a little bit? A lumbar support, this one's way too low. This is down at her hips. It needs to be up in the actual lumbar area right there. And so it fits with the curve of the back. And so that's one thing you also need to fix. If your chair doesn't have one of those, you need to buy one and put one back there. And so she's at the back of her chair. You want the chair to also support the thoracic spine, this part of your back. You want them to be able to touch a little bit there if you can. They have supports that actually run all the way up, and those work pretty well. So now we've got her hips opened up more than 90, but she looks uncomfortable with me. And so we're going to drop this chair a little bit. You feel comfortable there? So her hips are opened up more than 90. Now the knees, the rule of 90 on the knees, sometimes your knees are going to be right at about 90 degrees. So we're going to leave those where they're at. We're going to scoot her close to the desk now. Also, a chair needs to have armrests that you can adjust. These are about right for her. If she wants to use them, she can just set her arms on them. She's not reaching for them, and they're not up here cramming her shoulders in. So these are about right for her. A big thing with people in their desks is where their mouse is at. And so you want your mouse close enough where your arm is by your side and you can be on the mouse like this. And a lot of desks really need a tray. This is not a tray, this is a drawer. But if you have a tray, you can have a tray that comes out. And let me shut this off. You can have a tray that comes out, and you can use that tray for your keyboard and your mouse. A lot of them have a little mouse pad on the keyboard tray, and those are the best scenario. This is pretty good though, because here's what we're going to do. We're going to drop this desk. And here's what you have to adjust. You want your desk height where when she's on her keyboard, her arms are not closer than 90. So she's a little bit, we're going to have to drop the desk a little bit, raise the chair just a little bit, come up for me a little right there. Now we're getting closer. She doesn't need to be on the armrests all the time anyway. Let me go a little higher with your chair right there. It's toward the back. Okay, that looks pretty good there. And then her mouse is right here where she can get to it. If your mouse is out here, you're going to have neck and shoulder problems. Your arm is about 6% of your body weight. When that arm is reaching out, it loads the neck here, loads the shoulder. You're going to start having trouble. Now she's leaned up. She'd want to be back a little bit. She's right like this where she can easily use her mouse. Scoot up to the desk a little bit further. There she goes. Easily use her mouse. Her elbows are not bent too far. Now the other issue is the top of the monitor at eye level. And so I don't have a way to raise this monitor right now, but we would want this monitor higher. We would want it about right here, where the top of the monitor is at eye level. If there are two monitors, we want to center them like this so that you can just use your eyes to glance at the monitor, whichever monitor that you're on. And so we get the feet flat on the floor. The hips are opened up, the elbows opened up, the mouse is close, you're sitting at the back of your chair, and your desk height is right. One last thing is if you're using a sit-stand desk, I would stand up, I tell people stand up about 15 minutes on the hour. And so she could pull back from this desk, stand up, make sure her monitor's right. Once again, get the arms opened up like they need to be. Keep a good arch in your back. You also don't want the neck craning forward. Everybody kind of knows this. When you're like this, where you're flattening your head to the monitor, it pulls this. So you want your head over top of your shoulders, ear lined up with the shoulder, and the monitor up. And you do the same thing when you're standing. That's all.